Hey guys, Joel here over at importsauce.com, and today we wanted to do a product overview on the GlowShift 7-color tinted boost gauge. Stick around. Okay everybody, so you're probably wondering why we're sitting inside. It is Southern California and today 109 degrees outside. So rather than sitting in front of a hood or in the garage, we decided to hang out here in the office. So anyways, we were experiencing some boost issues on the Volvo maybe a week or two ago. And initially we thought it was our previous boost gauge. So we said, well, it's time to upgrade. We had gotten a $15 eBay one and figured we might as well step up our game, get something a little more pricey with a little more options. Turns out it wasn't the gauge that was failing. We actually had a solenoid that was going out, but this bad boy had already come in the mail and we like it so much, we're actually just gonna swap out and put this one in, but we figured we would go over how cool this unit is. So you can get this on the website. We got it on Amazon, works out to be about the same price. Amazon Prime shipping, it came in 2 days and it didn't cost anything for shipping. So we're about $46, something like that. We should note that in this series, they have the tinted and the non-tinted. The main difference is going to be on the actual glass or the plastic screen there. This one has a black tint to it, so when it is off, it actually just looks black, whereas the other non-tinted, you're probably still going to be able to see the dial and the needle through it. Unboxing, we were pretty impressed. The weight of the product is pretty solid. The packaging is very nice. You have a little preview of your gauge down below. On the front, it does show you the on and the tinted when it's off. So you slide this guy out and we have our gauge right there. From there, you can open up the back of the packaging and we're gonna have some goodies in there. We have a sun visor, so depending on the tint that you have on your windows, you may utilize this to keep the glare or keep the reflection off the gauge when it's in the car. We also have our new Boost vacuum line that it's supplied with. We're actually going to be putting this on an existing installation, so the good thing is we don't have to mess with that. Inside we also have a bag which has our warranty information. And we also have our full color detailed wiring and installation instructions. And we've already gone through these and everything on here is on point. It has troubleshooting, it has diagrams, it has pictures, super easy, well thought out there. Inside that bag we also have our T connector for tapping into the vacuum line. And then we have some hardware which is gonna secure the hose and also secure the gauge depending on which type of pod that you are using. Okay, next is the actual gauge. So we can go ahead and just slide that off of the cardboard housing here. And just immediately when we open this thing up, we could feel the weight, the construction was definitely better than the $15 eBay one that we had gotten recently. So automatically we're impressed and we're expecting good things there. Just for fun, I went ahead and put on the sun visor because I had noticed that in my setup, I have the gauge up on the pillar that certain times of day it is hard to read it. So I'm pretty excited about this. It comes in there. It didn't cost anything extra. So you slide it on and it gives you that nice kind of 3D dimension. I think it's also going to add some depth visually on the gauge pod when it's actually installed. Okay, so we did talk about the instructions, but I'm going to break down just some quick wiring on here. The eBay gauge that we had simply had 2 wires. It was going to be the black and the yellow. So our ground and then our power source. For that, we tapped into the dimmer on the vehicle so that the gauge would dim with the rest of the car should we want it to. This setup, the GlowShift, has an additional 2 wires. And what they are is black for ground. And let me just confirm here, the yellow is the constant source. So what you need to do here is hook up to something that has a constant power because there are settings that can be saved or if not hooked up to constant power can be erased. And we'll talk about that here in a few. Red is going to be your switched power. So That's going to hook up to like an ignition or a 12-volt ACC so that the gauge, when you turn the car on, it gets the signal to turn the actual gauge on, the backlight on there. Lastly, really cool is the orange wire, and this is optional, but this can be tapped into your headlights. So there is a feature on here that it will dim by 30%. If you tap this into your headlight tree, or if you tap it into your headlight fuse, when you turn on your lights, it's going to send a signal and the gauge knows to dim. It's nighttime, so that it's not going to be so bright. So that's really cool as well. A couple different ways you can configure this. As mentioned, on our setup, we only had a yellow and a black. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and connect our red and yellow together so that we have our ignition and our constant just being fed from the dimmer. I am going to lose the autosave feature of the color changing, but we already have that wiring. It was pretty difficult to get up in there. So for now, we're going to give up that feature. If in the future we upgrade and we get our triple pod and our other gauges, then we'll definitely spend the time to run that extra wire down. So that's something you can do as well. Depending on how bright this is at night, we may also, as we've tested it, go ahead and hook the orange into it as well, which will just permanently reduce 30% of the brightness. If we realize that that is too dim, then we'll simply just not use the orange. So on the website, you can definitely hop over. We do have a write-up on the different wiring options and configurations. With the instructions that they give you a pretty much straightforward, here's how it should be. But we found a few different options and configurations that you can check out, as well as a diagram of what we're doing on that too. So some of the added features actually on the gauge is 7 colors. So it cycles through, it has the blue, the red, the green, the white, the light blue, the purple, all this looks really cool. And simply you just toggle this button, boop, boop, boop. And after you get to the color you like, you just leave it. If you are hooked up to your constant power, then when you turn your car back on next time, it's going to remember what setting you were on and it will bring that up. So if you dialed into green, you like green, and you come back, it'll start up as green. In our configuration, where we're going to put all these together, it's going to turn on default blue from the very beginning. And if we want to change it, we'll just do that. That's not a big deal. I'm not upset about having to do that when I get in. The other thing is there are 2 transitional colors. So after you go through the 7, the first transition mode is going to be every 2 seconds, it just changes. So blue, red, green, whatever the cycle is. And then if you hit the button one more time, which is going to be the 9th option, or the second transition option, is going to be almost a dim fade through. So it's going to be like a blue, green, purple, something like that. And then right now what I'm going to do is we did a color test on that. So let's go ahead and put that up. Okay guys, so you can see the camera didn't pick up the colors as well, with LED lights and then the camera lenses and all that, but in person, Those things are bright, they are clear, they are vibrant. I'm very impressed. Definitely a better color and a presentation on the display than the $15 eBay gauge that we're currently running right now. And then one pro tip that we have is anytime we have a unit that's 12 volt, we do like to do a test before we do wiring. If you're doing this for the first time or you're wiring it up, before you get in there pulling kick panels, tapping into fuses, it's always a good idea to grab a 12 volt battery and you can do a quick test on it just to make sure that it lights up and you can see exactly what you're working with before you spend a whole bunch of time running the wires. You can confirm that they actually are going to work. I will put this on and I will rely on a thumbs up from the camera guy to confirm that it did light up. Okay, so there we go. We like to test it out. And if you wanted, you could toggle through it. I have one hand, our light's still good. So we can just kind of see our different toggles there. And again, the camera's not picking it up as bright as it is, but it's pretty amazing. So again, we are definitely impressed with this product. We've tested it out enough that we're just going to tap into our existing wiring, pull out our other one. When we pull out the other one, we will do a side-by-side comparison as well, just so you can kind of see, here's a $15 one and here's a better $50 one. So for the GlowShift 7-color tinted, we definitely recommend it. We plan on, again, getting 2 more and doing their triple pod that they have there. So if you haven't checked it out, go hit their website. Hit the write-up that we have on the importsauce.com. The link is below. And if you haven't subscribed, do that. Socials @ImportSauce. Thanks for watching.